Here we are again, guys. Ron Honesty here from Rock and Roll Heaven, right outside of Chicago, St. Charles, the Arcada Theater. And we are hanging and banging tonight, Artists on Lockdown, with, again, some of the biggest stars in rock and roll. And tonight is no different than any other Thursday night. Along with my brothers, Carmine and Vinny, we've got Tommy Thayer from Kiss and Doug Aldridge from Whitesnake and Dead Daisies. It's going to be a great night of rock and roll. I want to bring these guys on for our April 1st show, edition number 43. Let's bring my brother. I love this guy. Actually, I'm going to go with Carmine a piece first. The legend himself. You're looking good, man. And I'm telling you, we've been talking earlier about you working out. It's really obvious. We need to have you like in a tank top or something.
No, that you could do Doug Aldrich in a tank top.
Yeah, I know. I hate that guy when it comes to that. These guys that look like
Hey,
this.
I noticed you got a nice setup there now. You got a new studio at the theater.
I do. I got my big.
Uh-oh. Did it go off?
There we go. Am I on now? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, good. I thought
You got your
I didn't
big
know how it
mic.
works
You
yet.
got your big mic and a nice board in the back.
Yeah, look
so
at
you
this.
built a little studio at the arcade. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Wow.
So let's bring, because I understand you guys been together, which is really cool. Let's bring Vinny. There he is, Ron, Vinny Carmine. Let's bring Vinny to the microphone.
There he is.
There he is. I tell you what, look at that. I tell you what.
Oh.
Loin man, we like to call him. What's up, man?
How you doing? Good. Is it my imagination that on the intro, Carmine's got his name up, and then your name, and you didn't put my name on there?
It's got to be your imagination.
Your imagination. You missed
I gotta
that.
check that. I gotta check.
So next time you guys are going to be together, call me. I would have flown out there. I swear I would have. That would have been a lot of fun.
I made meatballs and we made sauce and the whole thing.
So now, okay. Well, that explains why you didn't invite me, because you didn't want to be. Right. I understand. I get it.
We had regard. We had everything. It was
awesome. So we talk about our Italian American show, right? So I made a shirt because I got this shirt made. I know you see. They put me on the cover of our Italian American magazine.
That's not.
So I thought I would make a shirt like this, and that would really bust, Vinny. But then I decided I'm not going to do that. So you know how we honor our guests. So this is my 8th try. So I put this together, and I don't know if Tommy's going to notice the difference.
Nice.
That's a good shirt, man.
I don't know.
You spelled it wrong.
I know. It's supposed to be sick. I hope the thing is, you don't want to mess with their merchandise. If Gene sees this, that could be a lot of trouble.
That's right.
You think Tommy would be cool with this?
Tommy,
Let's see when it comes on. Gene might say he wants some money for it.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's bring our guest. Let's bring our guest to the microphone here. First of all, of course, member of Kiss's 2002 took the place of Ace Frehley's lead guitarist for one of the biggest bands in rock and roll history. Kiss, Mr. Tommy Thayer is with us tonight. There he is, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
So, Tommy, do you think Gene would have a problem with this?
He might. That's a fully trademarked logo and imagery there. I think you got to be careful. And I see you have a lightning bolt and all that kind of stuff.
I'll do some. I don't know. I feel. We do this. I usually make shirts in honor of our guests, and Vinny always busts my chops. They usually look a little bit better than this, and first of all, I want to bring let's bring our other guest, Doug Aldridge. From Whitesnake, of course, in Dio. A lot of great stories. There's Douglas, and he's never. What a mane he's got.
Right. There you go. Now
you're the guy that's known with a great mane. I don't know that we're talking about that.
No, I've got a lot of things in common with this horse right here.
Hey. You have a purple cape, you mean? Is that what you mean?
No. I've got a purple cape. Capes are coming back, I think. I think capes should come back. I think that Gene's got a cape, so everyone could wear a cape.
I got a cape.
Alice Cooper's got a cape and a cane.
I got my Vanilla Fudge cape from 1968, and it has purple satin lining.
Nice.
Very nice.
Hey, man. We all need a little James Brown in our life, right? Who's the king of capes?
Yeah, man, the king of capes. James
Brown. That was a robe, wasn't it, on stage?
It was actually a cape the guy would put on, and It was the guy made a career of following James Brown and putting a cape on his back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I figured this is April 1st, so I figured.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'd like to buy one of those shirts.
See,
pretty
Vinny,
good, right?
you're always busting my chops.
See?
Usually when I do this, I got to find a shirt that I really don't like to cover. I put the logo on, and I found one that I really couldn't stand. This worked out well. I just want to make sure this just didn't.
Now that's a shirt. Look at that shirt.
So
I like the tape. I really like that tape.
What are you talking about?
The imitation tape thing.
It looks like my ears. All right, I'm calling my lawyer.
It's like headphones.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
April Fool to see. I'm
April
sorry,
Fool.
Tommy and Doug. You're probably like, these guys are a bunch of numbskulls, but there's a long 43-week story behind all of this. So we'll tell you about it later. But once again, thank you for joining us on Hangin' and Bangin', Artists on Lockdown.
Got it, Ron.
And it's an honor to have you guys here.
Yeah. Man.
No,
You're lucky I
I'm-
forgot it was April Fool's. That's all.
I thought for sure. All day I'm thinking,
forgot.
what could I do? What could I do? And this is the best I can come up with. This and the Kiss shirt is the best thing I can come up with. I thought for sure.
Yeah. Vinny was too
That was very
busy
good.
this week. That's why.
I'm very disappointed.
Cooking his meatballs and shit.
Very disappointed. We're artists on lockdown. Obviously, this all came about with this whole crazy COVID thing, but I also noticed, Doug, that you've been doing some things called lockdown sessions. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, it was just trying to keep. We had finished up we've got a new album that's out, The Dead Daisies. It's called Holy Ground. Wait,
yeah, man.
Let me show you what it looks like.
Look at that.
Wow.
Purple
Look at that.
shiny,
He's got a copy
Feature-
right there.
Yeah, nice.
featuring Glenn Hughes, and it's freaking awesome to work with him. He's my bro, and like you guys all are.
Yeah.
So we had finished the record, and then the lockdown hit, and it was like, okay, we were going to put the brakes on everything, and we just wanted to find a way to kind of keep connected with the friends and fans that were supporting us, and so we started doing these, like everybody, those kind of homemade videos.
Yeah.
And then eventually, a couple of them, they turned out pretty cool, but the audio really on the phones was really cool, and I just happened to chuck it into Pro Tools and kind of did a little rough mix on it, and they decided, let's just put it out. So
Yeah, it's like the way we did that. The track that played, the intro, was what me and Vinny did. That I did my drums on my phone.
I really like that track, actually. By the way, it's really cool.
Yeah, and you hear I'm on the right or the left, or I don't know who's on what, but Vinny did his in the studio. I didn't have a studio at the time, so I just said I'll put it on my iPhone because I really like the sound of the drums on the iPhone. So we sent it to
It's amazing
Artie.
these days.
Yeah, we sent it to Artie. I mean, we didn't have a studio like you got there, Ron, behind you.
Nice studio.
And but it came out great, really good. So I know.
Well, you guys got to hear it. 30 Days in the Hole, the Humble Pie cover, freaking outstanding. Especially, the U2 between the guitar and Glenn's vocals, freaking outstanding.
I love Glenn.
Thanks. Yeah, Glenn.
Yeah.
That was actually Ronnie's favorite singer, Glenn Hughes.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Ronnie and Glenn were super tight, right, Vin?
Chris Cornell. Glenn was his favorite.
Yeah.
And that's how I met. That's how I met Glenn. Really, was from. I think the first time was up at Ronnie's house.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Glenn
I met Glenn in 1974 when he joined Deep Purple.
Awesome.
When we were all friends, and they played Long Island, and I used to go backstage and hang out. I had a drum studio then, and I used to take videos of Ian Pace from right behind stage, right there playing.
Tommy,
and, it was great.
Have you ever jammed with Glenn before?
No, I haven't. But
Dude,
I'm a
awesome.
huge, you're talking about when Burn came out. That was one of my favorite Deep Purple albums, and I loved, when they brought Dave Coverdale and Glenn Hughes in. But I've never had I know Glenn, but I've never had the opportunity to play with him.
Dude, his bass playing is just insane.
Yeah.
If you're in a band with him, it could be just a trio, you and Vineyard Carmine and him, and it would just be like a dream.
Yeah.
His bass tone, you don't even need another instrument. That bass is like got a zip code or an area code of its own.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, we were going to do a band with me, him, and Danny Johnson back in like
Wow.
1979.
That would have
Danny-
been badass.
And
Danny
then
Johnson's a fantastic guitar player.
He is.
Yeah.
Vinny had a band with him, Axis.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember. I saw that.
Yeah,
See it?
and it was awesome.
Wasn't Rick Derringer in the band too?
No,
Was
that was afterward. Then Rick recruited us, and we
Oh.
did Derringer, but with a different bass player.
Well, Kenny Aronson.
Danny. Kenny Aronson. Yeah, named Danny.
Kenny.
So
It's
hey,
amazing.
when
Doug-
after Ronnie passed, right after we did a show in London, a big festival, Heaven and Hell, and Glenn sang with us, and and we rehearsed with him, and it was the weirdest thing because we played Heaven and Hell, the song,
Yeah.
and we're playing and we're going, this feels really weird, and then Glenn starts singing.
Wow.
And it was so weird because it wasn't that Ronnie, you know.
Yeah.
Even though Glenn ripped it up, I mean, it was just amazing, but it's the weirdest feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronnie, man, what? Every time I hear him on the radio, and with you, especially, I was in the car the other day with my daughter. She's like 5, and Last in Line came on, and it was just like, I go, wait, Ruby, check this out. Wait till this hits. And we were just rocking out, man. She's like a rocker, and your drums sound so, your drums and his voice. Well, everything was great. Jimmy and Vivian, all that stuff. But
Jimmy Bain was great on that too.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah. Jimmy was a simple player, but he just anchored it.
He locked.
Which allowed me to go a little more crazy, you know, with fills and stuff.
So Ron, I go way back with all these guys though. I mean, I first met Carmine when my band Black and Blue first moved to LA.
Yep.
Back in '83 or '84, and we were at a club like the Troubadour, and I swear to God, here comes Carmine a piece. You know, he comes walking in, and he starts talking to us, and he befriends us, and he's really, really friendly and super nice. And and we're sitting there thinking, wow, I can't believe he's talking to us. You know, and
awesome.
he was. I'm not just saying it. He was the nicest. The most approachable, down to earth guy, and we just loved you.
It's a good thing I didn't meet you now.
Yeah, he's a prick now.
I know. I heard you've changed a little bit.
That was unusual. Even then, that was unusual.
Shut up, you.
Well,
but you
wait,
know
wait,
what?
Let's get back to Ronnie. Wait a minute. When I played with Ronnie, that was so cool, and it inspired people to make shirts of me.
But I was just going to lead in.
Ron.
Vinny, I was going to lead into that. So the next year when we got a record deal, we did our first tour, and some of the very first tour dates we did was opening for Dio. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Black and Blue. I think we did some gigs together with King Cobra as well.
Yeah.
Black and Blue.
And
we were nice, right?
And then let's talk about Doug. I found Doug, remember when you were Burning Rain at a Japanese band, and I was doing my Guitar Zeus. Doug turned me on to the manager that got me my deal. And I said,
"Hey,
dude,
don't put that
on
me.
You got no. I said you got to play on the record, dude." So this was 1995.
I think, but right before that, or somewhere around that time, I got the best story of Carmine. And just to say, Tommy, you're right. Carmine's super nice. As nice as Carmine is, Vinny is like he's like a mean guy, man. Like, so you get to know him. He's like, I was afraid. No, Vinny, I jammed with you in 1990 with Ronnie. Remember?
Yeah.
And I was afraid to look at you because I was like, fuck, man, Vinny.
Because he makes these horrible faces when he plays.
No, he looks like a tough guy. He's from the from the old country.
Yeah, you had to pass the test. You had to pass the Italian test. Me and Ronnie were Italian, so you were up front there. I don't know about this guy yet. We'll see.
Yeah. Until we went and got a couple Guinnesses in us, and then it was all good.
Yeah.
But
everybody.
But no,
was family.
I was at home. It was I went to a con. I went to see. I forget. I went to see Jeff Beck, I think, with Carmine. Right? Did I go with you, Carmine?
Yeah. You went once with me, right? And then he was at the Greek Theater. At the Greek Theater, I think.
Right, and then I go home, and Carmine takes me backstage. I got to meet Billy Gibbons, Carlos Santana, all these guys. And then I go home, and it's like, midnight. I'm in bed, and the phone rings, and it's Carmine. He goes, "Hey, Doug, what are you doing?" I go, "I'm sleeping." Yeah.
What are you wearing?
Hey, if you want, why don't you come down to the Sunset Marquee? Because Jeff's here, and we're hanging out. And I was like, sheets just went flying. I got out of bed. I got dressed. I got my car. I remember seeing you in the elevator with Jeff, and he's pretty shy. I think he didn't really.
Yeah, he's very introverted, very shy kind of guy.
But that was around the first time I met you, Carmine.
Yeah.
That was you introduced me to Jeff, and I was like, now that's a good cat right there.
Yeah, but that must have been. Was that after we did the album? After you played on Guitar Zeus?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know you much before that.
You did one 2003. I think you did another one. What 2006 or 9?
Me no, 95.
No, this was in the 90s.
95. He played on 95, and I originally asked him to go to Japan, right? And you couldn't do it because I got Mitch Perry instead, and that's when I met him. And then I said I was looking for a deal. He goes, I got a guy that can do a deal in Japan. You turn me on to Warren, and he got an unbelievable deal. I made amazing records, and some of the best records I made on those 2 records. And Doug was on one of the first album. He was one of the first guys I got, and
I still remember that studio over off of Wilcox. We went. Remember that place?
Wilcox.
It was in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. No, Wilcox. Western. Off of Western.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mike's studio had a Trident board. We went. We were all analog. I got some killer drum sound there, and Tony Franklin on bass. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
It was badass. And those records still hold up today. They really sound great.
Absolutely.
I know.
Doug, do you remember when we met?
Yes, Tommy. I remember. I think I might have been at your first show in Los Angeles, and I remember you guys came out and you were doing this thing all in sync, and I had never. And it was great songs. But you guys, I'd never seen that thing before, and it was just like these guys are like a polished machine, man. It's like they're good, and you got a great deal, right, with Geffen or somebody?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So
then
I met you later, though. We were actually.
Well, I remember we used to see each other at Mates a lot.
Mates.
Yeah, and then we jammed one time. Remember we jammed you and Todd. And it was who did we jam with that one day? The bass player.
Todd Jensen?
He played Todd. Yeah, Todd.
What's Todd Jensen? Anyway, Black and Blue was probably one of the very first bands to actually rehearse at Mates way back. And Doug had his band Lion there many times.
Lion. Oh, yeah. I remember Lion. Right.
We, everybody in the
Hey, Ron, I'm sorry. You're not asking any questions.
You know what? I know when to sit back.
We got too much to talk about.
We haven't seen each other.
I remember Lion, right.
No, that was the place. That's the place that everybody in the world has rehearsed there, or whatever, gone there. And then, but the first time I heard, I think I saw you. Both of you guys was at Third Encore, or not Third Encore. It was Vinny and Carmine. Carmine, you were playing with. I was rehearsing with Hurricane at, I guess it was Third Encore, and it was
Who was I playing with?
Blue Murder.
Oh, Blue Murder. Yeah, I was Third Encore.
And then that same room was the room that I was working in, was where I jammed with Vinny the first time.
Right. That's funny stuff, man. I mean, I remember Mates when I was after I got my King Cobra deal with Capitol, I bought a motorhome, and instead of renting a bus, I just figured let's do a motorhome this way you can always have it. So I was painting it, and Ozzy was there auditioning drummers. Right, and he came up to me, and Sharon had just fired me and all that, and she told me my name was too big, I got to get my own band, and here it is, I had my own band, King Cobra. So Ozzy comes over and says, "Hey, I hope you're not mad at me. I know you and my missus have a problem." I go, "Nah, man, I'm not mad at you." So he goes, "What are you doing?" I was at the time painting the motorhome. We had 2 roadies that were painters, so I was putting the masking tape on the windows with some brown paper. So he goes, "Hey, Carm, what are you doing?" I told him. He goes, "You need a hand?" I go, "Sure." So I put Ozzy up on a ladder, and we're both taping up the windows, and I just got a kick out of it. I said, "Oz, don't fall," because you know how Ozzy is, And then he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I got my new band, King Cobra, that Sharon told me to put together, and we were about to go in and rehearse, and we're going to run the show down." He goes, "Oh, I'd love to see it." "Okay, come on in." So I brought Ozzy in. And he was one of the first guys to ever see a King Cobra show before we went out on the road at Mates in the big room,
Yeah. room.
Tommy, how did you actually?
Oh, sorry, Ron, you can't.
No, it's quite all right. Like I said, I know when to sit back. I like the wick. Let the explosion happen.
No,
man.
go ahead, go.
But no, I think it was really cool. A lot of people may or may not know this. A lot of people join bands. They go through the audition process. But you were part of the whole KISS operation before you actually took the guitar. I mean, you were doing videos. Tell us all about how that whole behind the scenes situation happened.
Well, it goes way back because when we first went on the road, Black and Blue, one of our tours also was opening for KISS, and that's when I met Gene and Paul actually back in the early, mid '80s. And so, and then Gene produced a couple of our records, and after Black and Blue ran its course, they asked me if I wanted to come work for them just behind the scenes, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's crazy, but how did that happen? How did the whole transition to take over for Ace? I mean, did they actually formally say, "Look, we got an idea here"? Or did it just kind of evolve?
It really was a slow process because I was around, and when they did the reunion tour and all that kind of stuff, I was around helping, rehearsing. And then when they did the Psycho Circus record, which was kind of the reunion record, they had some kind of issues with Ace and Peter where they couldn't come to an agreement. So Gene and Paul said, why don't you just come? We want you to come play guitar and do the guitars on the album. And they, it was on the down low at the time. And so I did that. And then, so I was just around. They knew I could do it, and so when it came to the point where Ace just wasn't, going to be there anymore for whatever reason, I was just kind of the natural guy to do it.
And you just kind of walked in.
Yeah. I mean, it was, there's no audition or anything. I mean,
well, sometimes that happens. We had a roadie with Vanilla Fudge that played bass. And one time something happened that Mark Stein got sick. So our bass player played keyboard. So he went to the keyboard and the roadie just took over the bass part, Yeah. And now he's in Cactus and he plays with me and Vinny and he's an awesome bass player.
Doug, you had kind of a similar situation with Dio. It's not like you had this big audition process. You kind of, from what I understand, you kind of looked around. All of a sudden, you were in.
Well, it was a long process too. It felt like a long process. I had met Vinny and Ronnie and Jimmy, Claude, and we had jammed together, and they were looking for someone around '89, and I was flattered to be offered a job with them, but I wasn't ready. I was really immature, I wasn't ready to leave my band. We were all living together in one apartment, and like my cabinets were our breakfast table and my cabinets were the furniture, So when we'd play a gig, so we were living together. I just didn't feel right. I wanted us to make it, and it just wasn't in the cards.
Which band was that?
That was Lion.
Lion. Okay,
yeah.
Lion.
So we were trying, but ended up that Mark Edwards, our drummer, got hurt, and then it was the end of the band. But by that time, you guys, Dio had already got Rowan, Rowan's a great player, and it was great, So that was. But later down the road, I always thought that Jimmy, especially Jimmy, was pissed off at me for not doing it,
really?
and Vinny too, because look at him, look at his. Right now, he's like, I can see through the computer.
Hey, you know what? You know why? Because Ronnie and I talked it over, and we said we'd move into your apartment with you and the rest of the band.
See that?
That nobody told me that. That would have been good.
And you still didn't do it.
Eventually, I had this session I was doing with Jimmy, and I was kind of a little nervous about doing the session with him because I thought he might, fucking Doug, And but he was super nice. He goes, "Hey, Ronnie's looking for a guitar player," and it took a little while, but eventually we met back at a pub. Last time I saw Ronnie was at a pub in Burbank, and then this time it was at a Robin Hood pub down from my house. And he goes, "So Doug, do you want to play a solo or two on the record?" I go, "No, I go, Jimmy, I want to do all the guitars, and I want to be in the band. I'm ready to go, man." It's like 10 years later, kind of.
Great.
And what
funny
happened?
you mentioned Rowan. I just signed a new deal with Cleopatra for King Cobra record, and the two guitar players I want to do it. So I got Rowan as one of them. We're going to use Rowan and
Rowan's
another
such a great
guy, Robbie Lochner. We got Robbie playing as well. And
I've heard of him. I don't know him, but I
he's
know
good.
He must
He's really
be good.
good. We played with me and Vinny did a Drum Wars gig with him somewhere, and then he sent me some stuff. I said, "Wow, this guy's really good," But
Good stuff, man.
Rowan is great.
He
Rowan's
thought I
good
was
stuff.
scary too, Doug.
We all
Thought
do.
I was mean.
We all fear you, Vinny. We all fear you. Carmine's the teddy bear. You're freaking Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I just gotta say one thing though, is that you two drummers, we all do our thing, but you guys are legendary for the sound. Like in the same way that Van Halen is legendary for his guitar, you guys got your legendary drum sounds individually that are different from each other.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, mine's better.
Well, I don't understand why.
Mine never goes out of style, so I don't know. His does.
The last name, the pronunciation of the last name that's kind of a little bit. We're all kind of still wondering about that. Why?
Oh, Vinny, you want to tell him about the last name?
Well, because my father, it doesn't work like that.
I know.
My father said Appice, and we grew up Appice. He got in the business. He was Appice. There's a live Vanilla Fudge
record. It was Beck Bogut, and Appice. It was.
Well, on the Vanilla Fudge record, it's live. They introduced him, Carmine Appice on the drums, and he did a solo, which wasn't very good anyway. My solos were way better. And then he goes and plays with Rod. And he starts playing all these ballads and love song shit, and he changes his name to a piece because Rod couldn't figure it out.
That's because I had a piece of the #1 records we made. See?
Okay.
And I thought it sounded like a piece of pizza or a piece of cake. I'm not changing my name.
Well,
so I say what happens.
Then the other side of the story is when I joined Rod, he said, "Look, we're going to be playing in front of 20,000 people every night, maybe 5 nights in one place, Vinny, and doing ballads." And then he said, when you do your solo, I want to say your name. You're like 5 different people. Appice, Appice, all this stuff.
Patchy.
So how do you say, how do you want to say it? So most people said Appice, and I used to correct them. I told them that. So then Ludwig did an ad. Everyone wants a piece of Appice in all the rock magazines. So we went with that. Everything was great until he comes out with Black Sabbath. And
then we played to 21,000 people 6 nights a week.
He trumped them. But doing this show, guys, another little known fact about these brothers blew my mind because it's still, after 43 whatever weeks, it's still, I get it mixed up. They throw another wrench in the whole thing. There's a third brother named Frank, and his last name's different.
Appice.
You believe that? Literally, all 3 of them.
We were with him yesterday. We told him we're going to put him on the show, one show, just to do the whole thing with the name.
Yeah, he's a peach.
Well,
that's the Italian way.
That's probably that's the correct old school way, right?
Appice, right? I'll give you that.
We actually met in Italy. We met some sort of woman who had the same last name. She said she was related somehow, and she said Appice.
Yeah, it seems right.
Hey guys, every week we're doing this thing called Hangin' Bangin' like you're on tonight, and we want to tell everybody out there, you got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing this show for you. We want your questions. We got the chat room open. Let us know your questions at the end of the show. Yeah. We'll ask our guests special questions, but we need you to subscribe, like, share, help us push this show because people are loving it. We know you're loving it. Subscribe. I'm going to see everybody who subscribes in the next half hour. Guys, once again, thank you for being with us. We got a lot of great questions coming in. Tommy, obviously you're in Black and Blue, 2002, you joined KISS, and they're playing freaking crazy arena shows, like monster crowds. And did you ever have a freak out moment, like, holy shit, anything like that?
No. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, people think I'm kind of new, but, I've been doing this professionally for a long time, just almost as long as these guys. Well, not quite as long as Carmine, but...
Nobody's as long as Carmine.
Nobody.
That's right, and you remember that, buddy.
He was great. He was great. The Glenn Miller Orchestra, Carmine.
I was.
Yeah, really. But really, the way I got involved with KISS, it was such a long, kind of gradual process. It wasn't like a sudden thing where I was just taken aback or something. I was just it was a smooth, long transition.
Well, it's funny when you play the big arenas. I don't know how you guys feel. When I played all the big arenas with Rod, you only could see so far.
Yeah.
You can't see you can't see anybody up in the rafters. You can see it, like the first 50 rows. So that's where you make your contact. So really, it's not like it's almost like you're not playing that big place. You're concentrating on the people in the first 50 rows or less.
That's true. Sometimes I tell people, a lot of times if I'm doing acoustic guitar at home with, a group of people at, a dinner thing or something, I get a little more nervous sitting down with 10 or 15 people
Sure.
than I do getting in front of 20,000 people. It's the weirdest thing. Do you guys feel the same way?
Especially when I play guitar, acoustic guitar, because I can't play shit.
I was just going to say that. You'd never heard Vinny play guitar.
Well,
no,
you're
right.
You're right. People are right there, and it's a different thing, It's
like doing drum clinic. When you do a drum clinic,
and
exactly. You teach it, and you're going in, you got maybe 150 people, and you're like, you get more nervous than going out on a big stage when you got everything. Because number one, when you're doing a drum clinic, is you pretty much don't have your equipment.
No.
You're playing something else, and something's not right.
Yeah.
But I know you just play for the first few people. I was locked into like 3 or 4 people in the front row, and zero into eye contact.
It's funny. I had like 300 or 400 people at my clinics. I don't know where you got 100.
Always busting chops, these guys. Always busting chops.
Oh, Vinny.
Oh, Vinny, I'm gonna give you a crack later on, the big brother.
Nice. You got to do a bloopers one, Ron.
You know what? We need to do that. How about this, guys?
A what?
A blooper show.
Oh, bloopers. You're right. That'd be awesome. That's a good idea.
Half the time, our entire show is a freaking blooper, Doug. So we got some material. Doug,
hey, Ron,
I was
Ron,
fun.
I think it's that time. We got to show everybody who's on next week.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
See, we're learning here. We have a new thing.
Usually, it's right in the middle of the show where we are about now.
All right. So we have a special commercial that was done with our two stars, Carmine and Vinny.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, so I'm really anxious to see it. Let's check it out. Who'll be on next week?
Hey, it's Carmine Apiece here. And Vinny Appice, not a piece.
That's right. It's not a piece. Anyway, we're here for Hangin' and Bangin'. We're here to tell you about our show on April 8th.
Yeah, and it's April 8th, and we have some great guests.
Yeah. Who do we got?
Gilby Clarke from
Guns N' Roses.
And John Payne from
Asia. And it's going to be a lot of fun, as all the shows are. Vinny be cracking jokes and all that.
Nope.
So find it on Artists on Lockdown on Facebook. Just go get there and put in Hangin' and Bangin'. You find it, or on YouTube.
Yeah.
Carmine and Vinny Apiece.
Or you could check the TV guide too.
Yeah, TV guide.
Yeah,
so
TV
we'll
guide.
see you there, April 8th, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific.
Hangin' and
Bangin'. See ya.
I'll tell you what, you guys are freaking natural.
Funny.
That sounds a little funky over there.
That sounded good. That was good.
It's
drums in there. Those guys are both great guys. Great. That's going to be a cool show.
Yeah.
Naturals. You guys are naturals. These guys, family. You two guys have very interesting family stories. One, Doug, I'd like to ask you because it comes up a lot. You're rocking with Whitesnake. You decide to be a little bit more with you need some more time with your son, and that was one of the deciding factors you leaving Whitesnake.
Yeah, it was just, we had done a bunch of work, and I was really proud of it, and I had a blast playing with David. I mean, he was like my big bro, and I was really proud of what we did, but we were kind of taking a break, and we had. It's funny you brought up John Payne on the show because John Payne called me around Christmas time after a tour had wound up, and I just wanted to be with my boy. I've been away for basically the whole year with Whitesnake, and he goes, "Hey, I got this show in Vegas. It's a really kickback thing. It's with Howard Leese and a bunch of guys."
Oh yeah, the Rock Vault with Paul Sciartino.
Radio Rock Vault.
And he goes, "It's great. You can put your, we could take your Whitesnake live rig and bring it, and you could play it anytime of the day or night you want, but then we'd do a 2-hour show, and you basically just stay in the hotel." So I went there with my boy, and then eventually my girlfriend came, who's now my wife, but we had a blast. I was still playing, but I was with my son all the time. He'd come to the show every night, and it was just, look, here, I'll show you. He would go on stage and do it.
Cool.
Kind of jam out. He would jam out with me, and it was going great. And then David said, "Hey, I'm going to do this Deep Purple record," and I was like, "Cool, I'll come out I can come like, 3 or 4 days a week, something like that. And he goes, no, I really want you to move here because, I need you here full time to do this. And
where's that? Reno? In Reno?
Yeah,
Tahoe,
Reno and
Tahoe.
Tahoe.
And I wanted to do it, but I knew if I was going to do it, then I'd be like behind the computer and playing guitar all day. We would work 7 days a week. So I was like, David, I love you, man. I just got to I need time with my boy. That's it. He needed me. He was 4 years old. And as you guys know, boys need their dad.
I get it.
Love to hear great dad stories in rock and roll because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of anti-great dad stories out there. So, and speaking of great dad stories, Tommy, you got to tell us about Sierra and how that whole thing evolved.
Yeah, a lot of people. I don't know if any of you guys have heard, but I found out I have a daughter last summer.
Wow. Awesome, man.
I was married for many years, never had any kids, and so I kind of thought that window of opportunity had passed me by. But through 23andMe, actually, a second cousin of mine was in contact with Sierra, and she's 31 years old. So this all took place, 88, 89.
My daughter's 31.
Yeah, and she's, it's just, it's the most incredible thing. It's just a blessing, and
it is.
She's just a beautiful girl, very genuine and just so sweet, and it's just an unbelievable thing happening in my life. It's just the biggest thing that's happened to me in a long time. That's for sure.
Did she know? I mean, at what point did she know about your relationship or about who she was?
Not until we figured this out, and I think she was more blown away than I was, your dad's Tommy, blah, 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 so.
Wow.
Just really a great story.
I didn't know you were Tommy, blah, blah, blah. I thought you were Tommy.
He's been called worse.
That's
she had the opportunity.
Anyway, just to get off that, for when Doug said he was playing in the hotel in Vegas, that was always a dream of mine, to play in a Vegas show, stay in the hotel, and be in Vegas and play every night like Buddy Rich used to do and Gene Krupa and Frank Sinatra and all that. I always wanted to do that. I never got to do it.
We did a residency. We did a residency.
Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
I just saying we did a residency in Las Vegas a couple years ago. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
A lot of fun.
And now Vegas is all rock and roll. Back in the old days with Sinatra and everything, it was all the big band, the jazz guys. Yeah.
It's all Elton John and Celine Dion.
And I went out many times to see the Rock Vault because I was doing the King Cobra record with Paul Shortino. So I spent a lot of time out there, and he was doing the King Cobra record and playing in the Rock Vault. And I remember we used to smoke a doobie and go to the Rock Vault and go, oh man, this is cool. It was well produced. It was a well produced one.
I seen Doug there a couple times at the Rock Vault.
Yeah, I did it a little over a year, and then I just kind of got burned out on the heat. It's so hot out there. And I still have my house in LA, and I just it was time for my boy to start going to school, and I was like, I think we live in a pretty good for LA, a pretty good area, and so I thought just get him back in school in LA, and so that's why I was kind of.
How old is he now?
He's 11 now. He's he's out shooting buckets, shooting basketballs right now, but he's
good man.
Like Tommy, I'm so happy for you that.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, that's a great
story.
Her
name's Sierra.
Yeah, her name's Sierra Sanchagrin. She's 31.
Where does she live? Where does she live?
She lives out in the Phoenix area right now, but
okay.
she's gonna, she's very artistic. She's gonna go back and study film and photography. She's gonna go to the UCLA Extension.
What's really great is when you get your kids start growing up and they start doing their own thing, something that they love. Like my daughter does special effects makeup for movies, and she's
nice.
Actually Saturday she's up to nomination for that Bill and Ted's movie.
Oh wow!
That recent one, she did the guy that's all blue in that movie, and it's really, it makes you really proud when that stuff happens. I mean, even like when they're in school, when they're in school, and I thought like Doug, you start getting awards in school, you go, wow, cool, that's my boy. Going to school events. I remember I had my kids late, so I was always 20 years older than the other parents. Oh yeah, like my daughter did that makeup for me. That was the first.
You gotta get her on the show. I bet she got some great stories.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Wow.
I did that with Alex Solka. You all know Alex Solka, right?
Oh, yeah.
Photographer. And
Photographer.
Alex said, I want to do a mad drummer. I want to do a mad drummer shot and have Bianca do the makeup. So that
looks like an Alice Cooper show.
Yeah, right. It's really crazy. But
speaking
anyway,
of
it's really cool. I'm sorry, man. It's really cool to have your son when he starts getting awards and little awards from school and take home drawings and stuff. You're gonna.
I never got awards at school.
I know. You never even finished school.
You talk about some of this drawing stuff. I mean, obviously, Tommy, with Kiss, I mean, with all the licenses and all the merch and all the Kiss stuff, one of the questions that someone's asking, actually, it's a two-part question. Number one, you got this big thing. Obviously, fan art is a really big Kiss thing. It's a big thing everywhere, but especially with Kiss, it just goes on and on and on. Is there any particular cool bit of fan art that you received? And the second part of the question, I think Doc McGee told me that he had over 2,700 licenses of different Kiss merch that he's got on there. Is there any, like an official, is it a bobblehead? What do you have Kiss merch that's like on your mantle or on your desk?
Oh man, there's so much stuff,
I know, 2,700.
Right. I mean, it's Kiss is definitely, I guess Kiss is the most merchandise and licensed, group or artist.
I mean, the only one that would come close would be the Beatles.
Yeah. But the imagery, as you know, is just, it's so ripe for doing all these kinds of things. And that's one of my new signature guitars, which is cool. And
nice.
But there's,
cool.
I got a question for Tommy.
He didn't answer the other one.
Well, wait, but how long did it take you to do the makeup? How long did it take you to learn how to do it?
That's the number one asked question of all time.
Yeah, sure. To learn how to do it. How long did it take?
It didn't take, because actually, Carmine, when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13 years old, I actually, for Halloween, put Kiss makeup on. So, so I've,
That's fun.
You were ready.
I've been well-versed for a long time, yeah. And, but, usually it takes me about an hour to put it on. It takes, we give it a couple hours. But, and when we get ready every night, that's the cool thing is that the whole transition of putting the makeup on and getting ready, we all do it together in a room, listen to music. And, that's a cool, I can't imagine not doing that every night and transitioning into Kiss.
Wow.
Yeah. But awesome. Do you have a favorite Kiss merch? I need that answer.
I can't really answer that because I don't, I love all that stuff, but there's so much stuff. It's just hard for me to really put my finger on something.
Sure. Yeah. It's really fun looking at some of the stuff about, especially about Doug and your career and all the side projects. I mean, literally countless side projects you've been a part of, and a lot of these tribute albums and these salutes. And I saw that you did one for Ronnie James Dio. And how cool was that? Was that like almost surreal for you?
That was did we do that together, Vinny?
Is that the one with everybody? Everybody's on it, right? Yeah.
Well, is that the one with me and you? Was it Rob Halford? And
yeah, that's right. That's right. Rob Halford sang, me, you, and Jeff Pilson.
Jeff Pilson, yeah. We did Men on the Silver Mountain. I mean, it was bittersweet, because, obviously, I mean, I would give anything if we could still have Ronnie with us. But
holy shit! Turn your phone off.
It's my daughter calling. She's probably watching.
But that was. I mean, we did a little bit different version, but man, I just wish. I still can't believe Ronnie's gone. It's been now what 10, 11 years now. What
11 going on 11 years? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still picture him up in that house. Doing his thing, listening to the sports radio and creating music and just.
Rolling
joints.
Guy, man. Rolling joints.
For sure.
The best one, Ronnie had such a funny sense of humor too, man. People don't really talk about it that much, but when you're on the bus with him, right, Vinny? It's like,
oh yeah,
he'd have you cracking up. He'd be, he'd put his leg over and he'd kind of squeeze out a little fart, and wait
a minute, he would lift both legs up. And he would light the fart, dude.
Oh, man.
Watch.
Hey, you'll never hear that on any other show, I tell you.
No, I tell you won't. There's a reason.
Since you brought it up, I thought I'd get
Hey,
detail
was that a Cleopatra tribute record or somebody else? Because Cleopatra did all those things.
No, I think it was
no,
Rhino.
This was Your Life. It was his kind of, I think, Wendy's official tribute record. It had a lot of Metallica, I think, was on it, and some other.
I remember I didn't.
To answer your,
okay, Doug.
I was just going to say, Ron, to answer your question, I basically, I really only wanted to be in one band. I've been blessed with being able to work and play guitar and have a family that I can take care of because of that. But I just look at it like, hey, man, be grateful to play. It's like I'll play. Right. I'm not gonna ever retire. I'm gonna play until I'm dead. So.
Right on.
Well, you're in the dead daisies.
There you go. There's a reason.
Hold on,
Full
but
circle.
there you go. Nice.
So Tommy, the end of the road tour. Oh, look at. Okay, there's my little.
Who's that? You?
That's me. So.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So here's what happened, real quick. No, here's what happened. We had Ace coming to do. I was telling we've had Ace, we've had Gene. No, this was for Gene. That's right. Gene was playing the Arcada Theater, and I did a promotional commercial thing, and I made it off like I was Gene, and I can't believe the amount of people who actually thought that was Gene. Idiots.
Wow.
Oh, look at who do we have here?
That's
wow.
Ruby.
Isn't she beautiful?
Thank you.
How old is she?
Ruby, do you remember the other day when we heard, "You're the last in line"? Rock and roll, right, Ruby? You like rock and roll? And you
She's like
Johnny
who are
Cash?
those old guys?
She's cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
Daddy, who are those guys, Daddy?
Those old guys are scaring me.
No,
Yeah.
She likes you guys. She loves rock and roll.
Oh,
So anyway,
God bless her.
sorry.
God bless her. So,
Ruby.
end of the road. So that's going to continue, right, Tommy? The end of the road tour.
Yeah, of course. Of course, we've just been on hold like everybody else has been. And I figure that, it's kind of a month-to-month thing depending on how the COVID, the vaccine rollout goes and everything. So we're just kind of waiting to see, there's dates scheduled. We're just, I'm hoping that it all falls into place.
So the question, besides how long it takes to put your makeup on, I got to think the number 2 question is, after the end of the road tour, and you guys start the end of the road, but at the cafe tour or something, have a dinner tour, whatever continues on. But after that, have you thought about what you might do? I guess where I'm going here, is there a chance for a Black and Blue reunion?
I don't know about that, but I think I might start a band with Carmine.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Then I'm starting a band with Vinny.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
And
Listen, there's a lot of people that
Wait.
want him. A lot of people that want
wait.
him. If you want to get into a band with him, you're going to be last in line.
But wait, they can open.
Hold on, one at a
Doug.
time, Let Tommy finish what he was saying.
They can open for us, Doug.
The reason we're going to do that is because Carmine and I just cut a new track that's really killer.
That's right. He played on my new Guitar Zeus track.
Nice.
I
Really?
do. Doug, I have a 25th anniversary box set coming out. You're on it, and you're on it. And
I got a
next week
question
when we
about-
do Dweezil Zappa, he's on it as well. So
I got a
he
question
did a
for
great
Tommy.
job.
You guys could open for me and Doug.
Okay.
Perfect. We'll do it. That would be an honor.
Now listen,
Let's go.
I toured a little bit with Tommy when on a couple. It was what Tommy like 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And the Dead Daisies were lucky enough to get some dates with Kiss, and I got to see Tom. I got to see Tommy play every night, and I got to say, man,
He's awesome.
Honestly, my favorite part of the show was "Shock Me." I got to say,
Okay.
Frozen.
of course, there's all the great songs. Of course, Paul has the best moves in rock and roll. Gene's like the king, and Eric. But I just love that song "Shock Me," and the way you did it was amazing. And then the guitar solo stuff was awesome.
And Eric Singh is a tremendous, really great drummer. He's an old friend, and he was discovered at my drum off in 1983 or 4 by Lita.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know Eric from way back then. And I remember when he was first with Kiss, and then he was the second guest on this show, actually, like 8 months ago, whatever it was. He's an awesome guy. I love Eric. He's a great guy.
And a great singer, too.
Great guy.
Great singer,
Got a great
killer
voice.
drummer. I didn't realize he did Beth. I said, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I said, wow, what a great voice. I didn't realize he sang so great, you know.
Hey, Carmine, did Gene and Paul ever talk to you about being in Kiss at any point?
Way back, we talked about it, and then they said they wanted to get somebody new. Because I had played on Paul's album. I was hanging out with Paul. I took Paul to Rod Stewart parties. The funny thing with Paul, we both went to a Midas muffler place. I had a big Jaguar that needed a new muffler. So me and Paul went, you know, we both looking long hair and everything. And the guy behind it was like a long-haired guy. He says, hey, you guys musicians? And me and Paul go, yeah, we play. He goes, what's the name of your band? We made up some stupid name, you know, and he goes, oh, cool, man, I play too. I said, oh, good. And then he goes in and starts working on the car, and me and Paul crack up. He should only know who he's got. I was playing with Rod at the time, and, you know, he was in Kiss, you know. And one other time we went to see Angel. Remember Angel?
Sure.
We were at the Long Beach Arena, and they had that big stage show. And me and Paul are like 10 rows back. He went with me. Again, we drove that Jaguar. And we saw these fans like pointing over to us, you know. And I'm thinking, oh, they must recognize Paul, you know. So I said, Paul, what do you think? He goes, oh, I don't know. I don't like all these, you know, we're in the middle of the audience here. And they come over and they start asking me for my autograph. They couldn't recognize him.
Oh,
that's
boy.
funny.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Now, Doug, didn't you audition for Kiss, Doug?
Yeah, a long time ago when I first got to L.A. And another thing that was funny.
Tell that story real quick about Gene's phone number and all that.
Gene was funny. I mean, look, the bottom line is I jammed with him. Eric was really nice to me. It was bizarre to see these guys without their makeup because it was like kind of like almost illegal. You're not supposed to. You're talking
about Eric Carr, right?
Eric Carr, and then he brought me to see the guys, and just I was like, I couldn't. It's just bizarre, you know, because I had only seen him with the makeup, but we played together, and eventually they realized, you know, that you know I was just too young, you know, I really didn't have anything in common with them, and later on Eric said, you did a really good job, but obviously, you know, you need more experience, and it's true. I mean, like, you don't want to be hanging out on the bus with somebody that you don't feel comfortable with, or somebody that's too young or too old or whatever. But anyway, it was a great experience, and it really kicked my ass into like getting serious about guitar. Because Gene asked me, he goes, Doug, do you ever play major scales? And I'm like, what? What's that? And he goes, you know, do, re, mi, fa, so. But the funniest thing was prior to that was when I was a kid in Philadelphia, there was a store, maybe you guys might have been there once, Medley Music. It was a really great store in Philly.
I did a clinic there once.
And there was a guy teaching guitar, and he looked like Paul without what you would think. And he had Paul's same hair, and he had a really good looking dude. But and I was like, I think I was 11, and I was like, I'm going to get lessons from that guy, and I think he's Paul Stanley, really.
Wow.
But it turns out, of course, it wasn't.
That's funny.
It wasn't.
That's funny.
It's like seeing Buckethead with his makeup off. Can't do it. That's illegal.
Has anybody ever seen him? Have you guys?
I don't know.
He comes by me, plays probably once or twice a year, and he drives up in this black like rapist van, you know, windows all blacked out and just all black. His guy comes out. It almost looks like what you'd think. That's what he looks like. He gets out of the van, gets on the stage, walks off, doesn't talk to nobody. It's the scariest thing.
But has anybody ever seen this guy? Does anybody know this guy?
No. You can, if you Google it, you can see a picture of him. But it's very, very rare, man. Very rare.
That guy is insane. He's so good. But the other one that's really good, Tommy. Did you guys ever see that Mrs. Smith, the old lady that plays guitar? But it's not. I think it's the.
No, I never saw that.
You know,
she's like 80 or something.
I saw that. I saw that on YouTube.
I don't know if it's a girl. I don't think it's a girl. I think it's a boy dressed up as an old lady. Oh. But Carmine, you got to check this out, man. It's like she's wailing out these Steve Vai riffs, and on the side of the street, and she's doing all the shapes and stuff. And it's just like Granny, you know. It's hilarious.
Maybe it's just
her on
Steve's
Guitar
alto
Zeus.
ego.
Guitar Zeus.
Yeah, get on
right.
guitar.
Yeah, get her on Guitar Zeus, and the next one.
Hey, Tommy, do you ever get the urge to play the sax?
For those of you that don't know, I started out playing saxophone before I even played guitar. Actually,
Wow.
Do you ever
Back
get
in
the urge
the
to
day.
grab one?
Maybe I should pull it out with Kiss. I think that would be.
That would be funny. With Blue Murder, Tony Franklin used to play clarinet.
Really?
And we used to do he'd do a bass solo, and then he'd stop the bass solo and take out the clarinet and start playing the clarinet. And the audience went wild. And Tim Bogert was a sax player.
No kidding.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of his bass licks are so crazy, because they're not normal bass licks. Because he always thought like a sax player,
I still have one, but I don't play it very often.
We'd love to see it. We'd love to see it. I mean, how cool would it be with you in full makeup all of a sudden?
Yeah.
You put the guitar down and just come out and do like a little Kenny G or something.
Yeah. I like to think maybe more kind of, something cooler.
Do you have a
Edgar Winter?
guitar solo?
Edgar Winter.
Edgar Winter.
Yeah, when you do a
Eddie
guitar
Money.
solo by yourself, I'm sure you do that, right? A little bit by yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, so then you stop and also you whip out the thing, put it in delay echoes and all that.
Come on.
And you go crazy, get on the floor.
The people would go nuts. It'd make the cover of Rolling Stone.
Hey,
I'm
if
telling
we
you.
see that in the Kiss show, we know where it started.
Yes, said it right
Yeah.
here.
Here's
But I
where
think
the
he
idea
wants-
came from.
He wants
know
to
what I was
stay
gonna
in the
ask
band,
Tommy.
right?
I know what I was going to ask Tommy, and I didn't give him a chance. Tommy, what's your favorite song to play in that catalog?
In Kiss?
Yeah.
Oh man, probably like Black Diamond or 100,000 Years, because there's some great. I mean, Ace did some really great stuff back then, and there's so many great signature guitar solos and stuff. But those two songs have a.
The Black Diamond was like their Stairway to Heaven kind of vibe.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was always the big set finale at the end of the set, and but great stuff. And great guitar solos and great guitar parts.
Hey, I got to hop off of this. I got to get on a call with my band. 5
What?
o'clock.
Oh my God!
Oh boy!
Well,
wow.
listen, we'll all hop off then. You guys, thank you so much. Doug Aldridge, Tommy Thayer,
awesome, man.
legends, also
Thanks, Ron.
major rock and rollers with Vinny and Carmine, of course. Every Thursday night, we are here hanging and banging with some of the biggest names in rock and roll. And once again, I want to thank our very special guests, Doug Aldridge and Tommy Thayer.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a great
Thank
one,
you,
guys.
guys.
Good luck to you. I know you're going to be hitting the road soon. God bless us all, right?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah,
Ciao.
absolutely. And
Ciao.
you guys, I just want to say thank you for your friendship. Love you guys.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
too,
I
man.
love you too, man.
Love you too.
Well, make
Love
sure-
you
Hey,
guys.
Doug.
Yeah,
Everybody,
man.
make sure
Especially-
that you are sharing this. You are sharing. You are subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like it, and make sure you tune in next week with our very special guest. Have a great week, guys. Until
Ciao.
next week, we are
Bye-bye.
hanging and
Bye-bye.
banging. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Good night.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.